me. Question is a GOP civil war looming? Sure sounds like it. Now let's bring in Jonathan Collegio. He's the spokesman for American Crossroads and the Karl Rove Victory Project, and Mike Needham, CEO of Heritage Action for America. All right, Jonathan, with all due respect to you and Steve Law and Karl Rove, friends of mine, with all the greatest respect, I just want to run a list. You all had nothing to do with electing these brilliant Tea Party senators, and I mean brilliant. Pat Toomey, Pennsylvania, Ron Johnson, Wisconsin, Marco Rubio in Florida, Ted Cruz in Texas, Rand Paul in Kentucky, Jeff Flake, and Mike Lee. So that's good. They won the primaries, they did good, and you won. Now, why do you want to mess with your old establishment guys and start taking on the Tea Party? You're going to wind up taking on the Club for Growth. You're going to wind up taking on Americans for Prosperity. You are going to make one bloody mess inside the GOP. That's what you're going to do.
Larry, this whole line about a war going on against the Tea Party is made up. It has nothing to do with us. What we want to do is we want to institute what William F. Buckley called, it's his rule, basically to elect the most conservative candidates in primaries who are capable of winning in general elections. And when it comes to supporting Tea Party candidates, by the way, Larry, the Crossroads groups, American Crossroads and Crossroads GPS, are bigger supporters of them than anyone. We spent $30 million helping conservative candidates like Richard Murdoch, like Todd Aiken, before he said all the crazy stuff, in these things. So this is not a war against the Tea Party. This is a matter of trying to get candidates who can speak on disciplined messages, who can raise money from local people.
You didn't support those people during the primary. You did not. Jim DeMint supported those people.
We haven't been involved in primaries. We've not been involved in any primaries until this point.
And you should keep it that way. And that's my point. I want to bring in Mike Needham. Mike, I don't want Karl Rove, as much as I respect Karl and all this, why the heck should they be involved in primaries? Why should they be pushing these old establishment, tired old Republicans? I want some new blood. I want some new messages. I want some more Ted Cruzes. They'd never support Ted Cruz.
Well, you're obviously absolutely right, Larry. And, the problem is this is a discussion about whether a small group of people in Washington get to choose who the most conservative electable candidate is, or whether the American people get to choose it. Ronald Reagan said in 1975, the American people are hungry to once again have a sense of mission and a sense of greatness. And the problem with the Republican Party, the reason the Republican Party keeps losing elections, is they don't stand for anything. They don't have a soul. And so grassroots conservatives around the country have looked at the guys that you were talking about, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, Rand Paul, all of whom were told by the establishment, well, Rand Paul can never win in Kentucky, or, well, if we put money into Marco Rubio's race that we don't have to spend.
Take Ron Johnson. Take Ron Johnson in Wisconsin. They didn't put a nickel. They would never put a nickel into that. It was Jim DeMint and his crowd that took that over. See, Robert Costa, look, you're a National Review guy. I'm a National Review guy. Bill Buckley said yes, people should vote and elect the most conservative, the most electable conservative. But he was giving advice in primaries. He wasn't saying they should be picked from above by a small group of people sitting around a table at Sunday lunch. And that's what bothers me about this, Bob Costa. That's what really bothers me, because I don't think the Republican Party elders in Washington and their consultants have a very good track record right now, and I'd love to see a little humility.
It's a fair point, Larry. Let's really drill down, though, to what this is about. I called some top Republican donors this afternoon, and I said, what do you make of what Karl Rove's doing? And it really comes down to this. It comes down to money. So many wealthy Republican donors are just frustrated with the field of candidates Republicans have been putting up for Senate seats, and they want to make sure if they're going to donate to American Crossroads or the Conservative Victory Project or any other race, they're getting a bang for their buck. They're getting some candidates who are going to win.
What they're going to get is a bang, like a Civil War revolutionary bang for their tuchus. That's what they're really going to get. All right.
Well, Larry, and just to build on that point real quickly, if you look at the Republican convention that happened, all of the stars, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Nikki Haley in South Carolina. Nikki Haley was the #4 person in the establishment's eyes in the South Carolina primary. So the stars of the Republican Party are people that the Republican voters wanted and put forth, and unfortunately, the establishment doesn't like that because they don't vote.
Larry, Jonathan, I want to give you one last chance for redemption on the show tonight. I want to have a chance for redemption. And here's the way out of this mess that you all have created over the weekend. Just take the candidates elected by the grassroots primaries and train them and teach them what to say so they don't do stupid, dumb things like get involved in rape and wacko issues that cost you to lose seats. So maybe, I don't know, Christine O'Donnell, there's nothing you can do. But most of these guys, train them, show them how to speak, get them the key issues and bullets. That's what the Democrats have been doing. We should do that. Republicans should do that.
Look, there are candidates who, number one, might have histories here that we need to vet. First of all, if a candidate like Christine O'Donnell is involved in witchcraft or not involved in witchcraft, as soon as you hear the word, I mean, that should be something that is vetted out of these primaries, Larry.
I know,
you
but
have to
there's
agree with
nothing you
that.
can do. Everybody tried. Everybody tried to get Mike Castle to win that. You know that. I know she was a dope. I interviewed her on this show a couple times. But that's not the issue. You're going to create internecine civil war. You're going to create bloodshed.
You take a candidate like Richard Murdoch in Indiana, right? And he made the comment, the now infamous comments about rape and abortion. Here's the problem with Murdoch. When he was asked that question, Larry, he had already answered it, and then he went on and he had no discipline and he riffed on this metaphysical topic, and it ended up toppling his candidacy. It's because he had absolutely no discipline. We need candidates that have discipline, that can raise local money. We've lost 4 to 7 seats over the last 2 cycles.
Jonathan,
the Senate majority that would have stopped President Obama's tax hike. This is a big deal, Larry.
We got to get out of here. All I can tell you is you guys get all the Bush alumni, and I love Bush, but Bush does not have a great Republican brand right now. And you start trying to show folks how to vote in these GOP primaries, you are going to have huge warfare. You are going to have huge warfare. You are going to have civil warfare. You are going to have something that goes back to the 1860s, and that is not what the GOP needs right now. Let me give you a clue on that. Teach them and train them, but don't try to pick them. Jonathan Collegio, sorry, buddy. You know I love you. I love Carl. I love law. It's okay. You're just going down the road. Mike Needham, thank you for backing me up. And Robert Costa, I think we have to talk about this. I don't know. I think we have to talk.